feel great because Las Vegas is where I started my boxing career. I flew from Ireland to Las Vegas to train with the legendary Eddie Fetch in 1993, and I've been here ever since. So it's great to be inducted by the Nevada Hall of Fame where I've lived and fought, and it's a big honor.
How do you feel being around other former champions and legends like yourself?
Well, that's always good because when I was coming up through my career, I always get, every time I seen a world champion, I would get a picture with them, and they're always like, "But you're a champion too. Why do you get in a picture?" I'm like, "Because when I'm older and I'll see all these pictures and stuff, get photographs signed, and so I'm around them. I always do that, and to be here with like Joel Casamignour, you know, we fought each other in '92 in the Olympic final, so 2 Olympic finalists who became world champions and getting inducted in the same night, which is, I think, a bit of history as well. Well, you never think it's your last fight. You always think you want to keep on fighting forever. No, I mean, it's just part of the game of boxing. You know, you always think, you know, you can fight forever. That's just the way it is. You know, your last fight, I haven't fought in 11 years, so it's been a long time. But I keep training every time. I train people and I stay involved in it. And I think if you go away from it, then it'd be really hard for guys to do that. But you know, when you've made history, it's part of the boxing world, and you impact kids. If kids look up to you, then that's what you want to do, is get kids involved in the sport of boxing. I've been an athlete my whole life. I've been a boxer since I was 7 years old. You know, so I've always did everything I did with boxing, and I'll always work out. I always will do that because I don't want to be a coach. I want to be a coach who can do stuff that my fighter can do. You know what I mean? And when I do personal training with people, I always say I'm not going to show you something that I can't do myself. If I can do it, then I can show you. If I can't do it, I shouldn't show you. I know what you're saying. I just thought about it for a second. No, because my career was sort of like start and finish, going slow. Then at the start of my career it was fast, and it was slower. Then, you know, you can't get the fights that you want to get, and then the politics of the sport. But you know, it's tough. But you know, with WBC, they've always looked after me, and I've fought for their belt so many times, and I was WBC champion. They're the guys who sort of looked after me and say an ambassador for them as well now. So it's an honor for me too. Every day. Every day, let's go. You know, the funny thing is, I never retired for 11 years. When I didn't retire, I just sort of walked away because people retire, then come back, then retire, then come back. And I always thought if I did come back, I would just sort of, I didn't retire. So I'm not going to be one of these guys who retires and then comes back again and retires. But I always just kept that door open like that and sort of just, that's just the way it is.
And well, you know, sitting here remembering your boxing career, is there anything you would have done differently?
Differently?
Better or
no,
just
people will say you never change a lot of different things in your career. You maybe change a few things, but you know the results. Yeah, there's certain things you think you're winning a fight, and then all of a sudden the other guy gets his hand raised, and you're like, "What just happened?" So there's certain things in them fights you could say, well, I could maybe push a little bit further, but no, you can't. I've got good faith in God, of course, and whatever He planned out for me was a plan I had, and I became Olympic medalist. Got to come to America, got to train with Eddie Fetch, which was I never thought it would ever happen, and I became WBC champion of the world, which was my goal. As a 15-year-old kid, I said to my friends, "I'm going to be WBC world champion," and they looked at me like I was crazy. And I won a WBC belt. That's the belt that I wanted to go for the first time as a WBC, and I get it. So you're saying that's why the old fighters were better? No, there's more nutrition stuff today, and you know, we got the conditioning coach, which I don't disrespect, but I don't think you need one. Muhammad Ali didn't have one. Floyd Mayweather, 2 of the greatest fighters of all time. I never had one. Conditioning is running, training in the gym every day, But for somebody to help with your diet, I understand that, because most boxers don't know anything about nutrition. And I was like that. I vacated my belt because I couldn't make weight anymore. But then 3 years later, I did a 2-year course on nutrition, and I could make the weight, but I already gave my belt up. So the nutrition part was a big part of boxers, because they try to cut weight down, and then they kill themselves, and they become weak, and then they lose their belts in the fight instead of being strong and being ready to fight. So that part is fine for them.
They lose the belt and sometimes their life.
Yeah, well, you lose. One time, my second defense of my belt in Dublin against Jose Luis Bueno was a tough fight, but I was murdered making the weight. I could walk into the scales, I couldn't even open my eyes. I was walking like this, and I made the weight, but everybody thought I made it okay. I killed myself trying to make the weight that day. I starved myself for like 3 days. I trained 3 times right before the weigh-in without even drinking water, and I fought 12 rounds. And I ended up in hospital. I won the fight. I ended up in hospital and almost died that night. So that's what I said. I went and did a course on nutrition and found out you can't do that, because you take water away from your brain, your liver, your kidneys. It's not good for it. And fighters, you've seen in the last few months, fighters have died. Young guys, guys in their 20s are dying. It's not just older guys. Young guys are dying, and the people need the dehydration part is the worst part for boxers. I did it one time, and I never, in my whole career, never had to do it again. I made weight easily without cutting crazy amounts of weight, and boxers need to do that, but they still don't do it. Well, I've seen guys up in even a recent fight, I'm not going to name names, drop 14 pounds right before 4 hours before the weigh-in in the sauna. It's torture. It's not good for you. But it's all water weight, but you feel like garbage. But it's not good. Why are you sitting 10, 14 pounds heavy right before the weigh-in? You should be like 2 pounds, maybe 1 pound the most, because you can jump rope and get that off without killing yourself. And that's the way you should do it. And your nutrition should be perfect. But if you're cutting 20, 14 pounds, that's like a death certificate. I think guys like that, my first impression of that was always like banned for life. But I would say, no, okay, give them a 1 year suspension. Give them, if they're making $1 million, give them $100,000 fine, not $5,000. That's a slap in the wrist. And then the second time they do it, banned for life. I always talk about Lance Armstrong because he never got caught cheating, but they know he did it and he admitted to it, and he gets stripped of everything. His Olympic medal, they took his Olympic medal off him. Everything, endorsements. He's just cycling, but boxing, people are hitting each other. You can kill somebody. Yes. And if you do it, the second time you do it, you'd be banned for life, but people have been caught twice and they're still fighting. First time you do it is not the first time you were doing it, it's the first time you were caught. So the second time you do it, they should just ban you for life. And then you have consequences. $5,000 fine, you have no consequences. Yeah. First time you get a warning, second time you're done. Because you can kill somebody. And maybe I'm being harsh, but you know what? I've been in the ring, and it's tough in the ring just being unequal. If somebody's stronger than you, then it's, wow. No, it's not. When I was a kid, we used to do like little short weights, like for strength, not for like muscles, like sprints and stuff and long distance running and do this, do that, push-ups, sit-ups. That's all this. Why do you need to do all these different elastic bands and stuff like that? I'm not disrespecting that, but the old school guys, if Muhammad Ali is known as the greatest fighter ever lived, and it didn't have a guy like that, why would you not copy him? Every time you see him, he was out running. Modern day Floyd, you always seen Floyd out running. I was trained still, so, take a leaf out of their book. You don't need to have, I need this, need that. You don't do any long distance run anymore. It's like, what? Long distance running is what gets your engine going. And maybe, I don't know, maybe being biased or something. I'm old school. I love Eddie Fudge, you know, train me and, you know, it was like, do your row work, do this, do that, do this. You know, you can be helped. The nutrition part is a big part. If you're helped with that, then that's good. But the training part, a boxing coach should be a conditioner. That should be his job, to get you in shape for a fight.
Yes.
You know? The sweet science.
The sweet science?
No, it's
Is it a hard business? I mean,
boxing. Well, it's boxing. You know, when people see boxing on TV or at a fight, they see them throwing punches. They don't understand the technique that they're doing, and that's where the sweet science comes in. There's certain techniques to try to slip punches, block punches, roll a punch, or you get hit. You know, the less punches you take, the better. But when you win the fight, I'm going out there to win the fight by knockout, by points, you know, by stoppage, whatever. I don't want to hurt the guy permanently. I want to win the fight. I want to hurt him to win the fight by, let's say, by the knockout. But I don't want anybody hurt. I wouldn't even, when guys say I want to kill the guy, that's they shouldn't even say that, you know, because it happens too much. You know, when you go out there, win the fight, shake each other's hands when the fight's over, you know, that's the sport. You know, so it's all about sport, not about, it's a hurt business, but just by knockout or points. But safety, of course, WBC are concerned about the safety. Safety is the #1 thing, but the safety goes back to the training, weight making, what you don't see in the gyms, and the WBC is not really seeing that. They're doing the weigh-ins, which is good, the 30-day weigh-in, the 1-week weigh-in, and the 24-hour weigh-in. That's the best thing that's ever happened for boxing, because guys can't drop 10 pounds right before the weigh-in, which is good. You know, they got to be a percentage of their body weight, so that's the good thing that WBC's been doing. Other organizations should do that, but they're not doing it. The WBC are concerned about the health of their boxers. Whether you're a world champion or not, if you're fighting for the belt, they're concerned about the health of the guys and the girls as well. I'm Irish, just like their slogan. My blood is green, my heart is gold. My heart is gold, my blood is green because I'm Irish. And I became Ireland's first ever WBC champion in the history of boxing back in 1995. And Katie Taylor just won the belt recently, the first lady to win the WBC belt. But no other guys ever won a WBC belt except for me. And I believe that's the hardest belt to win. Ali had it till modern day to Floyd Mayweather. So that's a belt that was my goal, and that's one of the highlights of my whole boxing career, is winning the WBC belt. I got a silver medal Olympics, but the WBC belt was my gold medal. That was the highlight of my whole career, winning the WBC belt.